from Earth Classic Game Room broadcasts from the Intergalactic Space Arcade on its never-ending mission to review everything. Welcome to Classic Game Room for the review of a truly remarkable game. This is Bloody Wolf for the PC Engine, which is like a cross between Shock Troopers and Ikari Warriors 3. Enjoy! Yes, this is Bloody Wolf for the PC Engine, released in 1989. It's also on the TurboGrafx 16. Codename Truxton. They didn't leave room for another T. It's a shame they didn't call this codename Truxton. That would have made a badass game even more badass-tastic, because Bloody Wolf is great. Codename Musha! Oh, that's Turbo Fire. If you like 80s and 90s top-down run-and-gun shooters, and you haven't played this, you're missing out. Just look at it. Watch the screen. This game sells itself. Can you hear how good this music is? It's incredible. Thank you. And the prisoners are so polite when you save them. I got something Japanese. Like, if you combined Contra with Ikari Warriors and Shock Troopers, this is pretty much what you would get. That's like mixing pancakes, bacon, and coffee. But with a lot more blood and really good music. Bloody Wolf has it all. Oh! I'm like the guy from Contra! It's so good, yet this is a game that you rarely hear anything about, ever, probably because it's not on the NES, or the Genesis, or even the Atari Jaguar, believe it or not. This one seems confined to the PC Engine and TurboGrafx 16. It's not that inexpensive, but boy is it worth it. It's a great game on every possible level. It's fun, it's got great music, it's challenging but with a good difficulty curve, and this guy handles a motorcycle like a boss. It's not nice to throw grenades at people. And for that they die. Can you hear the music? It's so good! There's a lot of games like this from the era. This one kind of reminds me of Mercs on the Genesis, but Bloody Wolf has this level of absurdity that's off the charts, yet the gameplay is also respectably solid. It's a great game. Have I sold you on a PC Engine yet? I love the music this thing makes. How many games give you the privilege of fighting a submarine with a machine gun? Love this one. Stage 1 cleared! Have a grenade! You suck! I can't shoot him, but my knife goes right through the armor. Makes a lot of sense. The controls are solid and simple. You run around and shoot things, you can jump. This is my favorite song in the game. And the run button, which is like the start button for the PC Engine, throws grenades or activates special weapons like rocket launchers and, my favorite, flamethrowers. Visually, the game is okay, but a couple other things of note here. I love when you throw grenades, the enemies go flying off the screen, spinning for added effect. And dig the stereo separation here. This has one of these really classic, memorable soundtracks that you just never hear about. The levels are a fairly average length for the genre. There's usually sub-bosses and then end bosses. It has a plethora of flamethrowers, as you'll see later in the review. I think there's 8 levels total, and if you want to skip through the game and just check them out as you're playing it, you can find the passcodes online. Haven't you people seen Rambo 3? On Laserdisc right over my shoulder? It's very good. I like the part where he takes down the helicopter with the bow and arrow, personally. I like every part of that movie. It doesn't start to get really hard until the end of level 4, and then it just kind of picks up from there. It's just a great game. If you like these, I can't recommend Bloody Wolf highly enough. Codename Truxin. Haha, if you get close to enemies, you just stab them. Bloody Wolf has a nice diverse variety of levels, yet sadly there's no lava level or snow level, but I like the mountain level and the part where he's crossing the stream, like Frogger. Oh, I blew up the prisoner. My bad, sorry. Flamethrower! Woo! What's really amazing is that he's better at crossing a river than Frogger, and Frogger's a frog. Bloody Wolf has every 1980s testosterone-fueled action movie inspiration possible, and I like that. I like everything about this game. Pretty much everything, yeah. All of it. Honestly, I haven't had this much fun running over people with a motorcycle since Vice City. I'm speechless. Bloody Wolf is amazing. And I have a huge classic game room. Shout out and thank you going to Ahmed from Springfield Gardens once again. Thank you. You have such great taste in games. And you all must immediately add this to your PC Engine or TurboGrafx 16 collection. Get on the scene with Stab Machine! So once again, thank you to Ahmed from Springfield Gardens, New York. If you think this looks good, it is. It's even better in person. It is like Rambo 3! Woo! Turn up the stereo and let the neighborhood know that you're rocking Bloody Wolf. And having a bloody good time while doing it. This level's tough because you have to find all the prisoners and then fight another one of those stabbing end bosses. Good thing you're handy with a knife. Have a grenade. That's for you. We're friends. Domo arigato. Now die. This music is also really nice. Oh, it's like Pitfall! I'm good at Pitfall! I'm good at this! No! Run away from the logs! And the idiots getting in the way of the logs. How dare you? Don't shoot me! I'm a hero! Welcome to Classic Game Room for the review of one of the greatest spaceship shooters on the PC Engine. This is Gate of Thunder! Woo! Wheel of Fortune has nothing to do with Gate of Thunder, although this game does seem to have a lot in common with the mighty Thunder Force series. Released in 1992 for the PC Engine, this is one of those must-have side-scrolling spaceship shooters, with incredible gameplay, rocking music, and some rad 90s opening animation sequences here. It's the hunting dog. What are we hunting? More awesome games for the PC Engine, that's what. There's no shortage of them, and plenty of spaceship shooters to choose from, but what I like about Gate of Thunder is that, in addition to it reminding me a lot of Thunder Force 3 and 4, it's a relatively approachable horizontally scrolling spaceship shooter with a lot of good challenge, great music, and style. Like a lot of these games, the biggest obstacle you'll face is the price. Gate of Thunder and its sequel, Lords of Thunder, are not inexpensive games, but according to the internet, you can also find this on the Virtual Console and PlayStation Network. Now, there's not a whole lot here that you haven't seen in other spaceship shooters, but one of the features I like, a really simple feature, is that when you double tap the fire button, your side pods, or whatever those are, shoot backwards. And that's kind of handy when you're trying to cover your own ass. Because enemies attack you from all directions in Gate of Thunder, especially in the later levels. Now, stages 1 through 3 are a piece of cake, especially if you've played a lot of these games. They're a good chance for you to score some extra points, get some bonus lives. Level your ship up and never let go of your shields. Because stage 4 is when this game starts to get real challenging. You've got 3 weapons to choose from: your basic laser shot, the green wave shot, and the bomby things. All of your weapons can be leveled up twice. That means that when you're fully powered up, you're one tough contender in this game. Just watch crashing into things like this end boss, which I seem to do every time. Thankfully, the game doesn't punish you like R-Type and send you back to a checkpoint, you just reappear. But it does take away your shield, obviously, and remove your weapon pods, and you'll really want them. The extra firepower is kind of handy in this game. Doesn't this remind you of one of the Thunder Force games? I mean, that's a good thing. If you're going to be inspired by anything, it may as well be something from Technosoft. I love all the space backgrounds and the chunky 90s visuals and flying through the spaceships. Gate of Thunder may not be the most original game, but it's like a greatest hits of all the cool stuff that we like from this entire genre. And that's what makes it work so well. It's just a very balanced game. It's not overly complicated, and it'll get your adrenaline pumping. Giant undersea space death squid? Yes, it's all here. You can continue several times. It'll save your high score. There's a few difficulty settings. It's a fantastic game. I love the underwater sequences in spaceship games, because why not? Bubbles always look extra cool in spaceship games, we all know it. Invite a friend, you can also play this game 2 players simultaneously on the couch, local co-op. While Gate of Thunder isn't a terribly long game, it does put up one hell of a fight near the end. You'll want to play it a lot, which is good because it never gets old and the music just keeps getting better. Sometimes I think they mixed the guitar a little too far to the right, but that's my only real gripe with the game. And I've got a classic game room. Shout out and thank you going to Mark and Suzanne, again from East Meadow, New York. Gate of Thunder. The cover artwork is really nice too, and the game plays every bit as well as it sounds like it should. One of these days I'll get around to playing the mighty sequel on Sega CD, Lords of Thunder. No relation to Lords of Acid. Until then, I've got my hands full with this game, Bomberman, and Twin Hawk on the PC Engine, Gate of Thunder. If you're gonna hunt down a copy, go through my website, classicgameroom.com, or check the Virtual Console and PlayStation. This one is highly recommended. Thunder, Thunder, Thunder! Gate of Thunder. Cats. Ho! Vanished from Earth Classic Game Room broadcasts from the Intergalactic Space Arcade on its never-ending mission to review everything. Welcome to Classic Game Room, where I'm reviewing Jackie Chan's Action Kung Fu on the PC Engine. This has got to be one of the greatest games ever made. Enjoy! I'm not sure what it says about the world's preeminent martial arts superstar when he easily takes damage from butterflies, punches out harmless tigers, and then drowns in lava. Seriously, Jackie Chan, I thought you were tougher than this. It's no wonder Jean-Claude Van Damme beat the crap out of you in Universal Soldier 17. In my mind. But I'll say this for him, his game is really fun. Jackie Chan's Action Kung Fu, being played here on the PC Engine from 1991. A side-scrolling action-adventure platformer beat-em-up, which is a hell of a lot better than Van Damme's game, Cooking Party Fun Time with Jean-Claude Van Damme. That game sucks. Its only redeeming quality was that one part where Van Damme teams up with Hello Kitty to make rice balls. But you'll find none of that silliness here. In this game, Jackie Chan puts his foot up all kinds of things' asses in order to save his girlfriend, wife, or just random chick he was hanging out with that day. After we get a lesson about good nutrition from Mr. Chan himself, because if you're going to be a martial arts superstar and act in fabulous movies like Super Cop with a Bond girl, then you've got to be in top shape. Eat your fruits and those things that look like hops from Super Pac-Man. Somebody told me they're melons, but I choose to believe Jackie Chan is recommending a good beer. In any event, is there anyone out there that can say this game isn't awesome? I mean, just look at it. I love that he's smiling when he's kicking the crap out of enemies. He's such a jovial fellow. Let's go, Igor. He hits frogs for power-ups and jump kicks eyeballs. I mean, this is pure genius right here. And let's talk about the music, which you can hear is terrific in an era now when we're stuck with all of these dark, depressing, violent games. Oh! The thing from Thunder Force 3, get away from me! There's something so refreshing about playing Jackie Chan's Action Kung Fu, which has solid gameplay, amazing music, and it's cheerful. When's the last time you've heard a modern release described as being cheerful? Happiness just isn't en vogue these days. If you enjoy feeling miserable, stay far away from this game. Otherwise, you might have a lot of fun playing this one. We're watching the PC Engine version. This also has a Western release on the TurboGrafx 16, as well as the NES according to the internet, although I've never played that version. Now we move on to the suburbs. What the hell is that thing? I just defeated an end boss. Now let's move on to the next level, which gets harder. Oh, screw you, bird. Where Jackie Chan has to scale jet-powered floating tortoise shells in order to make his way up to the next part of the level. Naturally. Jackie Chan riding the log jammer, punching birds. Jackie Chan hates nature. And apparently nature hates him. Way to go, Jackie Chan. That's what happens when you punch birds. They eat you. And then you're crushed. And they peck out your eyeballs. Now's the part of Classic Game Room where I give a shout out thank you to Brian and Kat from Kyle, Texas for sending this game to the show. A huge thank you because honestly, this just made my day. This should make everyone's day. In fact, you should have this game in your collection right now. I hear that if you pay him enough, he'll actually come to your house and act out scenes from this game. Call his agent, see how that goes. Highly recommended. Right after watching Super Cop on Laserdisc, it's time for Jackie Chan's Action Kung Fu on the PC Engine or TurboGrafx 16. They're ice mice because it rhymes. Ice mice. Jackie Chan can continue. Welcome to Classic Game Room for the review of Street Fighter II Champion Edition on the PC Engine, a new, longer Classic Game Room Mark III review made possible by those of you backing the show on Patreon. Thank you! I'm the strongest woman in the world! It seems like a lifetime ago that Street Fighter II was the hot video game. It was like a much-needed shot of adrenaline for arcades which had become tired over the years as interest in Pac-Man and Donkey Kong waned. Street Fighter II was the early 90s answer to get people back into the arcades playing games. There were lines out the door, waiting to drop quarters into Street Fighter II. And what made it all the more brilliant is that it usually required two people to play the game, over and over and over again. I remember this well. Chun-Li has kicked Chun-Li's own ass. Street Fighter II was so busy that I always ended up playing Pit Fighter. Zangief. Which is why I like Pit Fighter so much. But Street Fighter II is better, there's no question. And every home game console in the early 90s had to have a version of Street Fighter II, the Sega Genesis, the Super Nintendo, and the PC Engine. It was hard to say which version was the best until I played this. Now it's quite easy, because this destroys them all. Fatality! I can never remember how to do the helicopter kick in this version. Is it down and up or down? Okay. The problem with the arcade is that I always ended up waiting 15 or 20 minutes to play the game, got my ass kicked, and then had to wait in line for another 15 or 20 minutes, which of course I wasn't going to do because I have no patience. To the curb! So I would have bought a home game console version of Street Fighter II were it not for the fact that my local bowling alley actually got one, and me and my friends in high school would go and play that one all the time. It was like we had our own Street Fighter II machine. You just kicked my ass, Chun-Li. That's what that says. Because nobody else was there, I don't know why. Maybe because the food sucked, but the Street Fighter II game was good. They also had hard driving. And if you count up the money I spent on those two games, I probably could have actually bought a PC Engine. Or not, we didn't have eBay back then, or the internet for that matter, but we do now, and this version of the game actually isn't too expensive for one of the PC Engine releases. And we're watching some direct feed gameplay recorded with the Freemeister, which looks spectacular. This game looks and plays great. It's easily the best home console version of Street Fighter II that I've seen. Now, to be fair, I have not played the R-Zone version yet. In the R-Zone, I imagine that would be an experience. Also, I don't think that exists, thankfully. This is the Japanese version of the game. Your eyes aren't playing tricks on you. Balrog is Bison, Vega is Balrog, and Bison is Vega. Got it? Good. Because I'm still confused. All I know is that after 20-some years, I still don't know how to use any other character except Chun-Li. That dude's jacket in the background. That guy's pimping. Normally I try the different characters, but since you've all played this game, you know how it plays. And what's important is that it plays really well here on the PC Engine. I did some searching online. I don't think this has an American or at least a Western TurboGrafx 16 release. Sorry about that. I mean, it's not my fault. If it was up to me, we'd all be speaking Truxton right now. Of course I win. I'm playing on easy. Why wouldn't I win? This is the Champion Edition of Street Fighter II, so it's a pretty basic version for the most part. You can play as all of the original characters and the 4 boss characters. There's 8 difficulty settings. For most of this review, I'm playing on 4 or 5 stars, which is about as high as I can go. I'm really not that good at this game. I'm not good at any games, except Earth Defense Force. But that game is good at me. Visually, this looks almost exactly like the arcade game. The music is also really nice, but just slightly different. Different enough to make it interesting. And I will recommend that you find a 6-button PC Engine controller to play this game. Also, if you're going to play 2-player, you'll need the PC Engine multi-tap or whatever it's called. It's hard to believe they didn't put 2 controller ports on this thing, but they didn't. It's like it was designed by Sony or something. Here's a look at the Hue card. You can write your name on there. And it's like a big fat one. It's got more room to contain all of the Street Fighter II goodness. Here's the case, which is like a double disc case. I don't know if it had 2 cards in it originally. Instruction manual's nice. We get some good artwork. There's Chun-Li. There's my girl. Look at that. You don't get this kind of instruction manual anymore. Color. It's got the moves. Of course, now we have the internet. And some controller recommendations here. Not bad. Street Fighter II Champion Edition. And remember that the Classic Game Room Mark III review schedule is on ClassicGameRoom.com, so you can see what's coming soon. What reviews of awesome games.
USA. Round 1, fight.
Have you ever thought about what it would be like watching this game from the viewpoint of the people in the background? Like, these people clearly just arrived in America from the past. Their ship was lost at sea. For 100 years trapped in the Bermuda Triangle, playing Bermuda Triangle on Atari 2600 until they arrived at the New World. Look, there's people fighting for freedom. I'll bet my last shilling on the girl in the blue. That's right, the one full of laughter, the one who just blew the guy in the red away. Wow, that sentence changes a lot when you put an awkward pause in there. Finally, Ken is such a box of douche hammers. Here's what you want to do. Buy a PC Engine because there's a lot of great games on it, and add this one to your collection because it's a superb version of Street Fighter 2. The only real drawback is that you need that multi-tap for 2-player because obviously this game is best played against a friend. And I've got a classic Game Room shout out and thank you going to Mark and Suzanne from East Meadow, New York once again. Thank you, Mark. No! Nobody eats Chun-Li's head and lives! Had a great time playing this game. I always have a great time playing this game because it reminds me of that arcade at the bowling alley in 1993. So many good times were had there. Hey Blanca, you know who didn't play you in the movie? Van Damme? You're about to feel the Van damage. If I could kill you. Oh, darn it. It's one of my favorite fighting games of all time on an incredible game system. It's Street Fighter 2 for the PC Engine. That was poorly played, Mark. Poorly played. That, however, was not poorly played. And you'll hate me after the next couple PC Engine reviews because you will want one of these if you don't have it already. Which one is the real Chun-Li? And which one is the imposter? This is just the tip of the iceberg. Street Fighter 2 Champion Edition, highly recommended.
Perfect.
For added effect. Banished from Earth, classic Game Room broadcasts from the Intergalactic Space Arcade on its never-ending mission to review everything. Welcome to Classic Game Room, where I have a very mediocre driving game that was a lot of fun to review. This is Road Spirits. If the entire year of 1991 could be summed up in one video game, this might be it. Road Spirits for the PC Engine from ARC and Pack-In Video. This is such a mediocre game, but it has its moments. It's a blatant ripoff of Outrun or Rad Racer, but you are real road spirits. This has the same cheese factor as early 90s Korean karaoke laserdiscs. I love it. Try Next Road. Why not, when there's always pretty girls from the 90s waiting for you at the end of it? The loading screens are worth admiring. It's just a shame that the driving in between them is so boring. Road Spirits is close to being a good game, and to be fair, it's better the second time through. You'll easily beat the game on your first playthrough, which takes about an hour, maybe an hour and a half. It saves you progress, your times, and unlocks 2 new cars.
車を選んでください.
Yeah, what she said. You'll drive all over the world on roads that feel exactly the same, and that's the game's biggest problem. It's not fun or challenging or interesting in the same way that Outrun is. While the backgrounds are different, every road has these long sweeping turns, and a bit of light traffic that just kinda gets in the way. You really have to try to lose this game. But just about the time you lose interest, and get ready to play something else on your PC Engine, the loading screen makes it all worthwhile. Excuse me, I've dropped a quarter. Could you help me find it? The loading screens give road spirits some purpose because you're driving somewhere to help a girl from the 90s. My parents don't understand me, so I'm moving out west to find myself. Stop staring at me, or I'll call the police. Help! My hands are superglued inside my pockets. When you tire of brunettes, try a redhead. Every time I do the 80s dance, I throw my back out. I could do this all day, and I will. 5 minutes ago, I was wearing pants. I'm smiling because I just poisoned you. My right hand is on my gat. Do you need any more reasons to play Road Spirits? How about the CD quality music, which is buried in the mix behind the tire screeching?
BGM を選んでください。
Thankfully, you can also enjoy the music all by itself. The key to unlock my heart is on my necklace. Like the repetitive driving in this game, it just keeps going and going and going. Have you seen my parents? They're about 3 apples high. You know, I've got a classic game room shout out and thank you to send all the way to Chris from Jersey City, New Jersey. Thanks for sending Road Spirits to the show. I've now got a new background for my cell phone. What was in that drink you gave me? How did I end up on Easter Island? If you pay attention in between the driving sequences, there's also some clever use of the travel map. You start with an airplane and eventually graduate to helicopter and then space shuttle. Wow, I feel like I've just given this game some much needed attention. Road Spirits! Add it to your collection today. Because remember, it's not about the drive, it's about what's waiting for you at the end. Sorry about the mess. Excuse me, how do I get to New Jersey? Here's a look at the instruction manual for Road Spirits, which doesn't even feature a car on the cover, which I find kind of strange for a driving game. And here you see that this is not a HUE card. It's a CD-ROM. So if you try to put it in the HUE card slot, it makes an unhappy face. And there's some good-looking artwork in here. I like that drawing, actually. That's really nice. Can't read any of this, but we get some more artwork. Here's a look at the 4 cars. And I think that you unlock the new ones after you beat the game. I didn't actually check to see that the first time I played through it, though I read that online. Beat the game, and then you unlock these 2. The Ferrari's a lot faster than the NSX, but it doesn't corner as well. Nice drawing there. 2-speed car. But I guess you can actually go to full manual. I did not see that option. And here's the things that you can and cannot do with your CD. You cannot, I don't know what that is. Is that acid? You don't put Band-Aids on it. Don't write on it. Don't let it go to sleep. Don't wipe it with steel wool. Don't do that or that thing. And I guess you're not supposed to make tea for your CD. Good afternoon. Would you like to buy some cocaine? Welcome to Classic Game Room, where it's time to burn monsters with monsters and shoot them with lasers. It's time for Godzilla on the PC Engine. Whoa, there goes your PC Engine. Here comes Godzilla and Friends on your PC Engine from 1993. the height of the Street Fighter II and Mortal Kombat fighting game craze, this is a 2D fighting game starring many of cinema's greatest monsters throughout the entire Godzilla series, and while Godzilla may be known for wrecking things, he's not known for putting out a lot of good video games. Godzilla vs. Gigan. He's one of my favorites. I love the Gigan movie with the Japanese hippies. The great thing about this game, while it's probably an average fighting game, it's not that bad. But where it really stands out is its obvious love affair with the Godzilla movie franchise. It does a really nice job recreating the look, feel, and sound of Godzilla throughout the years. Even if I find the controls a bit frustrating, this one plays more like Mortal Kombat than Street Fighter. It looks and sounds amazing, but the PC Engine controller only has 2 buttons, one of which jumps, at least when you're Godzilla. That leaves the other button to attack when combined with a bunch of various controller movements. So basically, throughout the entire game, you'll be discovering special moves for each of the monsters, who you unlock after defeating them as Godzilla in the campaign. And the annoying part is that Godzilla is probably one of the least interesting characters in the game. I'd rather play through as King Ghidorah. He's always one of my favorites. But after beating the crap out of King Ghidorah, at least you can unlock him in the Versus mode, where you can battle the computer or a friend. If you have the PC Engine multi-tap, because for whatever reason they thought it was a good idea to only put 1 controller port in this thing. Really? The Dreamcast has 4. Like Mortal Kombat, you're not going to get very far in this game unless you learn each of the monsters' special moves, and it seems like there's a lot of them. Gigan's spin move is easily one of my favorites, but I still haven't figured out his chest saw blade attack. I haven't found a good resource anywhere to give me the moves for this game. There's not much out there about it online. And you know it's not bad. It's not a great fighting game, but it really succeeds at style. Street Fighter, anyone? If you love Godzilla and 1990s fighting games, I think you'll really enjoy this one. You'll need something to play the PC Engine CD games. This is a Super CD with some super awesome packaging artwork. And some of that super rad Godzilla music. Want some more monsters? You can do that. You'll need a PC Engine multi-tap, a second controller, and your Sega Dreamcast hooked up to the internet, because there's a code online which allows you to unlock the rest of the monsters. But you'll need that second controller to do it. I think this game would be best enjoyed as a versus fighting game. That's really what these were made for in the first place. You'll unlock new monsters, or spaceships, or robot monsters each time you defeat the game, and I think they're the most exciting part of it, learning all their moves, playing as all of the other creatures, except I don't think Mothra is in here. This one predates Space Godzilla and Destroya, and thankfully the 1998 Godzilla film. That's like the Jar Jar of the Godzilla series. I've actually had long, in-depth discussions with people over what's worse, 1998 Godzilla or Episode 1. I think if you have to make a choice between those two things, you've done something wrong in life. It's actually a good discussion because you have to ask how they screwed up a movie series where all you need is a bunch of drunk people in rubber suits to step on miniature cities and cause explosions. It's not that hard. Then again, Jar Jar. So, you know, they both suck. Thankfully, this game doesn't. Hey, check this out. There's bonus rounds, which I think are trivia in Japanese, so I just guessed at them and did pretty well. I shot down numerous UFOs with my Japanese illiteracy. And hey, on that note, I have a huge Godzilla-sized Classic Game Room shout out and thank you going all the way to Mark and Suzanne from East Meadow once again. You continue to prove that the PC Engine really is a kick-ass game system to collect for. It'll bankrupt you, but it's a lot of fun before you run out of money. Check out the sweet disc too. That looks really cool. Banished from Earth Classic Game Room broadcasts from the intergalactic space arcade on its never-ending mission to review everything. Welcome to Classic Game Room. Do you suffer from a case of, I want to blow things up with spaceships every moment of the day, just like I do? Well, then let me prescribe Final Soldier for the PC Engine. It'll cure what ails you. The game is called Final Soldier from 1991 on the PC Engine. That's right, the Japanese version of the TurboGrafx 16. Just lock that Hue card in there with a switch, hook it up with some Sega Genesis cables, and we're off! Like the Neo Geo, the PC Engine has a serious, enthusiastic fan base, many of whom have commented on the wide variety of awesome spaceship shooters available for the system. Like this one, Final Soldier, the third game in the Star Soldier series, and as you can immediately tell, a very good one. Love the music in this game. I also like that you can basically adjust your weapon's loadout before the game, and one of the options is laser bubbles. Now, how can any game that has laser bubbles and flamethrowers be bad? Because Final Soldier has both of those things, even if they're not the best weapons in the game. The Star Soldier series from Hudson Soft debuted on the NES way back in the 80s and continued on with the PC Engine and TurboGrafx 16. This game is available in both regions. For the most part, it's a pretty straightforward series of vertical scrolling spaceship shooters, and if you've played any of the other games, you'll know exactly what to do here. Blow up everything in space for points. The weapon power-ups are all pretty similar, and the music is just downright amazing. I previously reviewed Star Soldier on the NES, and I like it. I'm playing Super Star Soldier right now, and it's a great game, but this is my favorite to date. Final Soldier just has that extra something special super awesome. While I may not shower the TurboGrafx 16 with praise every day like I do the Sega Genesis and Vectrex, you've got to admit that this game, which is being played on an 8-bit game system, rivals the 16-bit Genesis and Super Nintendo. It's a beautiful game with nice art design and a lot of color and detail in the graphics. It runs smoothly, and the music is well produced with good bass, good highs, mid-range, and some damn fine rockin' tunes as well. There's a number of different weapon power-ups, as you've probably noticed. My favorite is the green laser things. Those seem to cut through enemies like me through a garage sale filled with Atari games. I think I've used that before, but it's applicable. Ah, you hear that noise? That means I took a hit, and you can withstand some damage as long as your weapons are powered up. All the way to 3 or 4 times, I'm not entirely sure. You can also pick up missiles and little buddies like the guys from Musha that assist in gunning down alien scumbags. There's multiple difficulty settings in Final Soldier. The normal one is actually not too hard, that's what I'm playing here, until you get near the end, because what happens, like a lot of these games, is you'll get blown up and then lose all your weapon power-ups, and there's just no hope of survival in the later levels unless you have weapons powered up. Especially when the enemies start to attack you with homing missiles or the discs from Tron, which are nearly impossible to outrun, and that's only exacerbated if you're also running into homing missiles. So you want to be powerful and blow enemies up the moment they're on the screen, or even beforehand if you've memorized the level. Final Soldier is an excellent game, a lot of fun, good replayability, and you don't even need a PC Engine or a TurboGrafx 16 to enjoy it because you can play it on the Nintendo Wii's Virtual Console. So a big shout out, thank you to Brian from Kyle, Texas for sending this along with the PC Engine. And thanks to his girlfriend Kat for packing it up and writing a legible note. Because we all know guys have terrible handwriting. So thanks again, Brian and Kat. Well, I don't normally accept loaners. I understand you don't want to part with this. It's Final Soldier on the PC Engine, engineered to be fabulous. Forbidden Zone? This sounds naughty.
Alien approaching. Alien approaching.
Ultimate enemy approaching. Oh shit. Oh, the giant eyeball thing got me. Banished from Earth Classic Game Room broadcasts from the Intergalactic Space Arcade on its never-ending mission to review everything. Welcome to Classic Game Room for the review of the PC Engine Duo that plays standard PC Engine games as well as the Super CD-ROM games. Two great things in one. It's the PC Engine Duo here on ClassicGameRoom.com. And thank you again and again and again for your comments and support. CGR lives on in space! So the PC Engine core graphics just isn't enough PC Engine for you. You want more! And who can blame you? Who doesn't want more PC Engine? It's time for the PC Engine Duo, combining the standard PC Engine that plays the Hue cards with the PC Engine Super CD-ROM. The PC Engine Duo uses the same AV cables as the Model 1 Sega Genesis and can output stereo sound through the headphone jack, just like the Model 1 Sega Genesis. The back of the game system is kind of boring, and so is the bottom. But that's not why you get one of these. You get them to play games. And a lot of great games there are the standard PC Engine games, in addition to the Super CD-ROM games, which are even more super, because it says they are. While the PC Engine is a very nice 16-bit game system with a lot of great games, I gotta be honest, the Duo is kind of a step backwards in styling. I think the core graphics actually looks better. Those ridges give the thing some character, like potato chips. I love the ridges because all of the flavor gets stuck in between them. There's no ridges on the PC Engine Duo, but there are lots of great games like this. Star Parodier, the parody version of Star Soldier. And yes, it's a game you want to play, because it's really good. So here's what you do. You pop this thing out of the CD case, open the door, and then remove the game that was in there, which is Insanity, another great PC Engine release. Insert Star Parodier, and turn it on, then play fun game. The PC Engine is known as the TurboGrafx 16 in the West, and yes, there is a TurboGrafx 16 CD system as well, which does pretty much the same thing as this. And while I've only played a few of the CD-ROM games, they look good, they sound good, it's the PC Engine. The visuals look more or less the same, but the audio quality can be dramatically improved, like you see here with Insanity. This thing reminds me a lot of the Sega CD attachment. The games themselves were very similar to the Sega Genesis games, but they often had cutscenes and voice dialogue. So if you've been eyeing up a PC Engine, check out the game catalog. Look on eBay, see what they sell for. The PC Engine Core Graphics is quite affordable. If you want to step it up to the PC Engine Duo, it does cost a lot more. So a giant, classic game room thank you and shout out to Brian and Kat from Kyle, Texas, who loaned this fabulous piece of equipment to the show. And yes, we're watching Star Parodier in the background with a giant flying PC engine that shoots lasers. I want one of those. Where do I get one? It's really all about the games. The PC Engine and PC Engine Super CD-ROM are known for having a lot of amazing spaceship shooters, but there's also the Western version, the TurboGrafx 16. And there's also a CD attachment that works with the core graphics if you already have one of those, but they're also pricey. But look at this game. This game is beautiful. And there's loads of other great ones out there for the PC Engine and the PC Engine Super CD-ROM. So thanks again, Brian and Kat. It's the PC Engine Duo. Now, if they would only make a PC Engine Trio that also played Hyper Neo Geo 64 games, that would be something. Something worth owning. Haha. Welcome to the show. It's Classic Game Room, where I have an amazing game for you today. Star Parodier, or Star Parodier, I've seen it spelled both ways, the parody version of Hudson's Star Soldier series. It's incredible, so sit back and enjoy. Every now and then I review a game and have absolutely nothing bad to say about it because it's perfect, and that's what this game is. Perfect, incredible, brilliant. It's exactly what it says it is. Star Parodier, or Star Parodier, I've heard it pronounced both ways. It's Hudson's answer to Konami's Parodius. This is a Super CD-ROM release for the PC Engine, and actually it does have one small problem. I've heard about this on other PC Engine games. After a while, the music will just stop playing. But I think that has more to do with an aging PC Engine than the actual game itself. I've also seen the PlayStation 2 do this from time to time. Obviously, it has something to do with reading the audio track. But it never stopped my enjoyment of Star Parodier, although it was a bit odd playing the game in near silence. After picking up Hue cards, I'm now firing CDs at bad guys, and you can even pick up a spinning controller shield. What's not to love about this game? It's bizarre, but you know that kind of works for it. And the audio problem wasn't constant. Some games it worked just fine, like this one. Maybe the PC Engine just really loves Bomberman. I mean, who doesn't love Bomberman? Come on! When the audio's working, it sounds really good, the colors are always vibrant, and it's nice to see that the developers were able to make fun of themselves on one hand, but also improve or keep the quality of gameplay the same as the rest of the Star Soldier series. I think this is as good, if not better, than the other games. It's a hard game, but at no point can you possibly get frustrated. Look at it. Sadly, they didn't think that anybody in the West would get it. This does not have a Western release. It was not on the TurboGrafx 16. PC Engine CD-ROM only, or at least until it was released to the Virtual Console. Like, I don't know what the hell these developers were on, but I kinda want some. It is kind of weird without music, though. Maybe I'll just play some of my own. The funny thing is, that could actually be in the game and you would think nothing of it. Like, oh yeah, that fits. Sounds pretty good, actually. Now, did everyone catch the PC Engine hitting itself in the head with a hammer? Is there some inside joke I just don't get there? Or is that just how wacky the PC Engine is? Here we go, we have birds that look like robofish out of Time Splitters, and there goes the music again. Maybe the PC Engine did hit itself in the head with a hammer. Strangely, I'm in the mood for crab cakes. You know, I'm in the mood for Star Parodier. So a huge thanks once again to Brian and Kat from Kyle, Texas for sending this to the show. I've really enjoyed Star Parodier and recommend it. However, be forewarned, it is kind of expensive out there. I haven't seen the Virtual Console release for the Nintendo Virtual Console, but if it's anything like this, you want it because it's awesome. When the music works, it's incredible, and I love the level design. I also like shooting seals with lasers. If you don't have a good time playing this game, then you just don't know how to have fun. Why do you hate fun? Man, what does Hudson Soft have against winter? I'm expecting a giant snowman end boss any second now. Oh, there it is. Poor PC Engine. Yes, this game is incredible. Star Parodier, whatever it's called. It's a game you want. If you have a PC Engine, you must own this title. Otherwise, check the Virtual Console. It's a lot cheaper. Highly, highly recommended. Banished from Earth, Classic Game Room broadcasts from the Intergalactic Space Arcade on its never-ending mission to review everything. Welcome to Classic Game Room. This is Sega Genesis fanboy Mark, bringing the review of Outrun for the PC Engine. Sega Genesis fanboy Mark is also a fan of the PC Engine. What it lacks in blast processing, it more than makes up for with Truxton! And a lot of other really good games, like this. Originally released to the arcades in 1986, Outrun is considered by many to be one of the greatest video games of all time. For good reason, because it is. It's a lot of fun. Yu Suzuki's racing masterpiece has withstood the test of time and remains every bit as fun now as it was 30 years ago. It's not quite as visually impressive as it was back in the day. I remember seeing this game in the arcade in the 80s thinking, holy crap, driving games will never look better than this. Well, driving games do look better than this, but that doesn't necessarily mean they're more fun. Outrun is brilliant. It's like this choose-your-own-adventure driving game where you pick the path through the race, and that's not something that you saw back in the day. That's really not something you see these days. Each environment is totally different. It's like you're driving around the world, experiencing exotic places, and then crashing into them. While you're playing this, you've got to keep in mind it was originally an arcade game meant to eat your quarters, so the gameplay is reasonably short. Especially if you crash, then you're screwed. As you've probably noticed, you're being scored for the distance that you travel, but I don't think the game is really about score. It's about reaching the end. There's numerous paths through the game, giving it infinite replay value, and 5 different locations to arrive at. 6 if you include Wendy's. Hooray, you've reached the goal and your Ferrari breaks down. I hope that's covered under warranty. So how's the PC Engine version of Outrun compared to the numerous other console versions out there? I would say it's one of the best. The PC Engine handles this game with ease. It looks great, it plays well, the controls are responsive, and the sound is really good too. The music is excellent. If you want, you can turn the engine noise off. I like to know what gear I'm in. First or second, that's all there is. I like to know how much I need to brake before hitting a turn. If you see the turning signs, throw on the brakes quickly before you start turning. That should prevent you from sliding into most of the obstacles. The key to getting through Outrun is not to crash into things. Use your brakes. Slow your car down, it'll take less time than flipping over and over and over, exploding and finding yourself floating through the R-zone. Level memorization will also help, but you can never predict what the other idiots on the road are going to do. Kinda like real life. And you don't have a chainsaw. What's the best path through the game? You know, everyone has their favorites. I think the top ones are probably the easiest, but once you memorize the bottom ones, they're not too bad either, provided you don't run into something. There's 3 difficulty settings you can choose from 3 different radio stations, and as you can see, the game looks and plays really nicely on the PC Engine. I'm very impressed with this thing. For years I've heard how good the PC Engine is. Now that I'm spending more time with it, I agree. This version of the game is kind of pricey, but I think you get what you pay for. If you want a less expensive home console release, go for the Sega Genesis version of Outrun, but I think this one is better, and yes, that pains Sega Genesis fanboy Mark to admit it. I have 2 people to thank for this review. Mark from East Meadow, New York, sent the PC Engine to the show, and Ahmed from Springfield Gardens, New York, sent Outrun. Thank you to both of you. Ahmed, who goes by Alpha Royd, also sent some other super cool PC Engine and MSX stuff to the show, so you'll be seeing a lot more of those game systems soon. See you next time on Classic Game Room Mark III. Hello everyone, here's the Classic Game Room PC Engine Duo. The PC Engine with the Super CD-ROM 2. That plays the standard PC Engine games like Outrun, which you just watched the review of, on a Hue card. I love that I can put my name on there if I want. I did sign one of the Sega Mark III cards. Maybe I should start signing all the PC Engine stuff too. And it plays the PC Engine CD-ROM games. I'm also playing my way through Road Spirits, which by the way is not nearly as good as Outrun, but that's to look at a review that's coming soon. Now, years ago, I reviewed this great game, Twin Hawk, for the Genesis. Actually, it's the Mega Drive version. Well, here's Twin Hawk for the PC Engine, and this review will be coming soon. Here's a look at it here. And these Hue cards are really nice. They're pretty much the same thing as those Sega Mark III or the Sega My cards. You can also get Sega cards for the Master System sometimes. Let's look at that. And one of the Super CD cases for Road Spirits, which I believe is currently housing Gate of Thunder. So, lots of great PC Engine stuff coming soon, and we've all seen the Outrun artwork before. It looks really nice, of course. Love the Ferrari. And, yeah, great game. Great version of this game. And a great game system. You'll be seeing a lot more PC Engine stuff on Classic Game Room soon. Welcome to Classic Game Room. This is Soldier Blade on the PC Engine, another spaceship shooter on the PC Engine. Imagine that. Love the artwork on this one too, check it out. And it's a great game. You gotta wonder, how does the PC Engine deliver such incredible audio? It must be magic. And this game is magical. It's Soldier Blade, the fourth game in the Star Soldiers series. I've previously reviewed Final Soldier and Super Star Soldier, but this is 1992's Soldier Blade, proving once again that a game that has the word final in the title is not actually the final one. If you've played the other games, this is more of the same, but more of the same is okay as long as it looks and plays like this. I'm playing this on the PC Engine Turbo Duo. It's a Hue card, and this is also available on the Western TurboGrafx 16, as well as the Virtual Console and PlayStation Network. It's so good they spread the Soldier Blade around like peanut butter on toast. If toast explodes like these things. Like usual, there's 3 weapons to choose from: the red one, the blue one, and the green one. And I generally prefer the green one. Like most games, if it's green, it's gotta be good. Unless the green things are trying to eat you. The blue lasers are also really good, but they created some interlacing issues with the recording, so I just stuck with the green one. For you. I did it for you. You learned it by watching me, okay? You collect the power-ups to increase your weapon's strength, and depending on how many power-ups you have, you can actually take a few hits during battle, and then you can launch them out as special weapons, which comes in handy during boss battles. For the most part, in my opinion, the enemy designs and backgrounds and visuals in general aren't overly exciting. There's better looking games out there, but the gameplay and the music are incredible, and that's what makes this series worth playing. Soldier Blade is a predictable good time. You know what you're in for with this game. Things are going to explode because they're in front of you, and you score points when they die. They die horribly, screaming, cursing, your name exploding into a fireball that gives you points. But we don't care. We don't care because we're playing for a high score. Also, we just don't care. Stupid ass aliens. Go away. Find some other game like Xevious, where they die screaming there too. Do aliens call us humans, or are we alien to them? Big questions that you won't have time to dwell on while playing Soldier Blade. And what could these idiot aliens want with this highway anyway? What are you gonna do? They're just ruining it by driving their stupid tanks all over the place. You know they deserve to die. Screw them. I'm gonna launch my green homing laser snot in their face just for added insult. Soldier Blade is a game that you wanna own. If you like this genre, I highly recommend it. It's just fun and highly playable. Very enjoyable. Great music. It's colorful, and it's Soldier Blade. That's a cool title, too. So a big classic game room shout out. And thank you all the way to Brian and Kat from Kyle, Texas. Thank you once again, and thanks for the Turbo Duo. Watch for a review of that thing soon. It's kind of like the Sega Genesis with a CD attachment, except it's the PC Engine. Wow, don't get those two fan bases fighting, then we'll be here all day. Soldier Blade, highly recommended. Banished from Earth Classic Game Room broadcasts from the Intergalactic Space Arcade on its never-ending mission to review everything. Welcome to Classic Game Room, where I'm about to go berserk for some insanity on your PC Engine or TurboGrafx 16 Super CD-ROM. Insanity. It's like a frenzy of good times. The game is Insanity, and I'll tell you what's insane, how good this game sounds. It's like KMFDM does the audio for Samus from Metroid playing Berserk. That's Insanity on the TurboGrafx 16 or PC Engine CD-ROM. Insanity is from Aetherbyte Software, and this is basically a clone of 1980s Berserk. And I have no problem with clones of popular games like Pac-Man or Space Invaders or Berserk as long as they offer something new. And this one certainly does. Even though the walls will electrocute you, we get incredible music, an obvious nod to Metroid, and the kick-ass 80s robot voice, which sounds a lot like Wizard of War.
You will die here.
Here's a little segment where the CD decided to skip on this track, so we get to hear the robot voice more clearly.
Lock all exits.
Fortunately, the music started playing during the next series of levels, which of course get more difficult. And to make sure you clear out the fish-looking robot enemies before the robot overlord appears. I guess Evil Otto is on vacation. It's safe to say that if you enjoy Berserk, you'll like this game, which is just different enough to make it interesting. You've got to shoot all of the enemies in each round to get your bonus, and that becomes difficult quickly. Although the first several levels are extremely easy, you'll have no problem with them. If only I could stop walking into the electrocution death walls. I liked the PC Engine nod in that level. And I like that you get two choices of the soundtrack as you're playing this game, the CD soundtrack or the chiptune mode. Basically, this game rocks, and if you have a PC Engine with the CD attachment or the Turbo Duo, which is what I'm playing this from, or the TurboGrafx 16 version, you want it. You want Insanity. You would be berserk to not have it. That doesn't really make a lot of sense, but you know what I'm saying. Just don't go on a frenzy. Pick up Insanity from Aetherbyte's website. This is also on Xbox 360 as Insanity X. So just turn up the volume and prepare to rock out to some berserk. Insanity. You know what you could also do? Just put the soundtrack CD into the CD player and play Frenzy. Now, if only they would have actually shown you your high score during the ending screen. So try to remember what it is before you die. Banished from Earth Classic Game Room broadcasts from the Intergalactic Space Arcade on its never-ending mission to review everything. Welcome to Classic Game Room 2017, where it's always a great time to shout EDF while carpet bombing enemies on your PC engine in Bomberman. Bomberman bombs whatever Bomberman can, and Bomberman can bomb a lot, after all his name is Bomberman. This is the 1990 version for the PC engine, which is different than the popular Famicom one, where the game starts off with somebody's daughter being kidnapped by a winged thing, and your mission as Bomberman is to bomb everything except her, I think. There's been numerous Bomberman games over the years, and while I've played them occasionally, I've always found that Bomberman games are best enjoyed multiplayer. Or at least the newer ones. This is the first one that I really sat down and dug into as a single-player game, and I absolutely love it. It's kinda like Pac-Man meets Dig Dug, but at the same time, not at all. Bomberman has a very unique style. And while this game starts off slow, the first couple levels are a bit slow because Bomberman is really weak, and after each level, or in each level, he collects a power-up, which you just saw increased the strength of my bombs. As you continue playing the game, you can drop more bombs, you get timed bombs, and you further increase the destructive power and odds of killing yourself in Bomberman. Bomberman! Bomberman is one of these games that I really like, except I'm terrible at it, so this footage will suck, but the game is very good. Alright, I got through one without killing myself. Very, very good. Way to go, Mark! Yeah! If you don't like the Bomberman music, you suck. The more time I spent playing Bomberman, the more I got sucked into the complexity and strategy. This is a great arcade-style game. Bomberman has a myriad array of scoring opportunities and a wonderful risk versus reward system. There's no one right way to play Bomberman, and every time you play the game, it's completely different. There's so many different ways to score points and stay alive and blow yourself up in the process. Which is how I died 90% of the time, but it was fun every time. I'm just a Bomberman beginner. And while I'm not familiar with the NES or Famicom version of the game, I clearly need to be after enjoying this. I have a nasty habit of blowing myself up in this game. So I'm trying to stay as far away from my bombs as possible. When you start the game, you can only drop one bomb at a time, and it has its own time delay fuse, which you'll quickly get used to. It's about 2 seconds, or it feels like 2 seconds at least. I haven't actually timed it. So you drop a bomb and run away from it as quickly as possible so you don't get caught in the explosion. What you try to do on each level is kill all of the bad guys as fast as you can, And you want to locate the power-up and then locate the exit. Is it just me, or do the explosions look like bloody crosses from Evangelion? As you keep playing the game, your explosions get incredibly powerful to the point where they nearly cover half the board, and you can accidentally chain them together and easily blow yourself up. There's a variety of enemy types, and you'll quickly get used to their patterns. You can frequently just charge up behind them and pin them in a corner with a bomb. Other times they're faster and more aggressive and will avoid your bombs, which is very inconsiderate. Most of the power-ups that you collect stick with you through the game, but there's a few of them which are really good that you'll lose if you die, so hang on to them as long as possible. My favorite is the remote control for the bombs, where you decide when they blow up, which obviously makes destroying enemies far easier. There's another one where you can walk through the bushes or the obstacles, and that also comes in particularly handy. Bomberman! Is there a Mrs. Bomberman? The music in Bomberman is wonderful. The more time I spend with the PC Engine, the more I love the sounds that it makes. And the controls in Bomberman are also solid. 2 at once, that's some big points. Bomberman's living large. Visually, it's a nice, colorful game. There's 8 different worlds, and it's a pretty large game for an arcade game. Oh no, I blew up my thing! That's the one I wanted, too. You can continue a couple times in Bomberman. There's a password continue system and a save game system as well. You'll also encounter some boss battles and super duper secret ways to score big points like this. If you're lucky enough to discover the gate last, the game rewards you. And then quickly kills you. Such is life. I drop bombs. And get out of the way quickly. Such a wonderful game. Bomberman on the PC Engine. There's also a 2-player mode, and I have a classic game room shout out and thank you going to Frank from, I'm probably going to mispronounce this. Oh, come on! O-R-R-E in Norway. Have fun with that! You suck! Thank you, Frank from Norway. This game is terrific and I super duper highly recommend it. But wait. There's more. Because I can't end this review without showing you the delightful picture that I found on the inside of the packaging. What in the name of blast processing is going on there, and why wasn't I invited? They say a picture is worth 1,000 words. This one is more like 1,000,000. All of them good. I bomb because I can. I am Bombercan. So apparently when you open this thing up, it's an ad for a video which features another story of Bomberman that looks like a bad Christmas movie. Or at least just a bad movie. What seems almost cruel about this is that I don't have it. That's a shame. But to make matters worse, yes, they get worse. How could they possibly get worse? Look at this. It looks incredible. It's on VHS and not Laserdisc. Bomberman does not approve. Look, inside the manual, we have sad Bomberman and confused Bomberman. Sad and confused about why this is on VHS and not Laserdisc. The entire manual is actually quite fun. This whole package is wonderful. So thank you once again to Frank in Norway. It's Bomberman on the PC Engine. You can also find this for the TurboGrafx 16. And find it you should, because it's awesome. Come get me, you stupid... I don't know what that is. No! No! As always, Bomberman ends the game by blowing Bomberman up. That's how I roll. Banished from Earth Classic Game Room broadcasts from the Intergalactic Space Arcade on its never-ending mission to review everything. From 1989, this is Shinobi for the PC Engine, which is very different from the version on the Sega Master System that I'm familiar with. Mission 1! I can't read that, but we're going to kill things because my name is Shinobi and I fight for the children. Bring it! Woo! Children saved! Points earned! Which is good, otherwise I wouldn't save them. Stupid kids! Quit getting captured! There's some things I like more about the PC Engine version, and some things I like more about the Sega one. Let's get started with my favorite part of this game, which is the music. It's dynamite. I have to give the PC Engine a lot of credit. Typically, I just think of it as a cool game system for Japanese spaceship shooters, but apparently it's also a really good game system for Sega games. Like Outrun and Shinobi, they're terrific on the PC Engine. This is more like the arcade game, which I've actually never seen before. The place where I used to rent all of my martial arts VHS tapes back in the day had a Ninja Gaiden arcade machine, and don't correct me, that's just how we said it, and I will continue to say it that way. Nobody likes you! Jump, throw, up, punch in the balls, save kids, go to next stage. It's all too easy. For Shinobi. Ninja Gaiden was a sweet arcade machine. In fact, I have that board in one of my arcade games now, but Shinobi, annoyingly, was not in my local video store. And that's too bad because I like this game. It's tough though. Remember, this one was originally designed to eat quarters, so it's strictly memorization. You've got to play this game a lot, especially when you get past level 2. It's like the Revenge of Shinobi. He needs to use the Force to know where enemies are before encountering them, so you just shoot them while they're off screen. Actually, reacting to enemies on screen will get you killed instantly. You just need to know what to do before you get there. Memorization. And memorization cost quarters back in the day. I did a bit of research online. As I understand it, there's a couple features from the arcade game which are not present in the PC Engine version. I think they removed an entire level. And the weapon leveling up system is not in the game. I kind of miss that super slow jump that he did in the Sega Master System version. That was really one of my favorite parts. Great music, but I hate this end boss. This guy took me like 50 tries until I memorized the pattern. Rarely am I that patient with boss battles, but I like Shinobi. I like the entire series. And I'm also reviewing Shinobi 3 right now. So I'm covering some other Shinobi stuff because you can really never have too much Shinobi. Welcome to Classic Game Room for the review of Shinobi on the PC Engine! I wasn't supposed to die during the intro. I find that some auto fire helps out in this version of Shinobi because unlike the Revenge of Shinobi and Shinobi 3, you have unlimited shurikens in this game, so why not use them? Shinobi's arm never gets tired. I have given you yet another reason to pick up a PC Engine Shinobi. It's not inexpensive, but not nearly as pricey as a lot of these spaceship shooters. And the artwork on the Hue card looks super cool. I've got a classic game room shout out and thank you going to Ahmed from Springfield Gardens, New York. Once again, thank you for sending Shinobi to the show. This is a super cool version of the game. Ha! Did you see that? That rarely happens. I got an extra life as I was being killed. I love the spinning logo. Power Drift from 1994. The PC Engine. This one is originally from Sega. It's an arcade game that was developed, I believe, by video game mastermind Yu Suzuki, who brought us Outrun, Hang On, and so many other great Sega games. This one plays like a cross between Mario Kart and Outrun. It's like a kart racing game without the power-ups. And after spending some time with Power Drift, what it's missing are power-ups. They bring a lot to kart racing games because they give you something to do other than concentrating on the driving, and frankly, the driving isn't all that good in this game, so some machine guns or flamethrowers or even a magic mushroom or two would really make an improvement. Power Drift isn't too bad. It plays exactly like it looks like it does. It's got kind of an interesting style, actually. You choose from one of several goofy characters, including one who's named Mark. Mark! Looks just like me. Except not at all. I'm so white I'm practically see-through and I have a full head of hair, but I do like to smile sometimes. And so does Mark in Power Drift. Kind of an odd game, actually. It's got a weird visual style. I'm not really sure what to make of it. The whole time I was playing this game, I actually kept wishing it was either Mario Kart or Outrun. It's stuck in between both of those games. In a frustrating way, because it's not as good as either of them. The controls take some time to get used to. Because unlike Mario Kart, you can't just easily slide through corners, and unlike Outrun, the car doesn't handle very well. So, you're left driving this weird cart that's difficult to control, so you really have to slow down before you hit each of the turns. Your opponents always seem to be able to drive better than you. And eventually, winning races turns into a bit of luck, because if you hit other drivers, you spin out or bounce off the road. And then you're definitely not going to win that race. And you need to get into the top 3 to progress to the next race. This predates Mario Kart, and it clearly takes inspiration from Outrun, and that pretty much sums it up. That's what the game plays like. A rough draft of later kart racing games. I wonder if Sonic Drift 2 on the Game Gear was like the unofficial sequel to this. because the camera perspective is lower than it probably should be. The backgrounds are cheerful. The music is repetitive. It's not one of the better PC Engine games, but it is affordable, unlike most of the spaceship shooters on the PC Engine. And I've got a classic game room shout out and thank you going to Ahmed from Springfield Gardens, New York, once again, for sending this to the show. Thank you very much. Power Drift. If you're looking for some better PC Engine driving games, may I suggest Road Spirits, which is just hilarious, or Sega's Amazing Outrun, which kicks ass on the PC Engine. This one is okay. How can any game be bad if it stars Mark? Banished from Earth Classic Game Room broadcasts from the Intergalactic Space Arcade on its never-ending mission to review everything. Welcome to Classic Game Room, where I'm playing R-Type on the PC Engine, a spaceship shooter that features brains in vats hanging from the ceiling. More games should have that. In fact, I could use some brains in vats hanging from the ceiling around here because they're functional and decorative. And really cool. They're thinking, so you don't have to. Make way for R-Type on the PC Engine, an amazing version of Irem's 1987 classic arcade game. Side-scrolling spaceship mayhem. R-Type. Defeat the Bido Empire. Which will be a challenge unless you memorize every level of R-Type. And to be honest, it's not one of my favorite side-scrolling spaceship shooters. It's extremely challenging, and that's not unusual for the genre. I find R-Type to be very rigid, though. It's a game that you can only play one way. So you gotta memorize R-Type and then play the same path through the game each time. Without dying, because when you blow up, you lose all of your weapon power-ups, and then it sends you back to a checkpoint. Which, certainly during the later levels, means you're screwed. So the only way to defeat the Bido Empire is to play the game perfectly through the exact path that you should play the game. But visually, as you can see, R-Type is a great looking game. It's extremely cool, and I like the feature where you shoot your little ball thing or whatever that is out at enemies, reel it back in, and you can collect different power-ups. For it, you can also charge your beam and unleash a more powerful shot that way. Brains and vats! And you can even fly around to the other side of it and put it on your back. So using that thing is essential in getting through the game. And, we've all played R-Type. It's a great game, and there's lots of sequels, many of which have improved on the R-Type experience. R-Type Final on the PlayStation 2 is my favorite R-Type, and of course there's lots of clones, some of them being really good games like Last Resort and Ducks. DUX, that's a Dreamcast release. Last Resort is on the Neo Geo. But let's talk about the first R-Type here, on the PC Engine, a 1989 release, and a really impressive game for the era. Visually, it looks great, it's sharp, it's colorful, it plays well, but the music steals the show. The PC Engine just knows how to deliver some sound. This is actually being played on the PC Engine Duo, in stereo using the headphone jack. It's got some flicker, as you can see, but for the most part, this is about the best old-school home console version of R-Type that you can find anywhere. It's also on the Western TurboGrafx 16, and it's a pretty cheap and easy game to find. If for some reason you've never played R-Type, you can also get it on the Virtual Console, the Sega Master System, and pretty much everything from back in the day. I'll typically go through as much of the game as possible with my blue laser. That's the best weapon, but it's been a few years since I've really played R-Type, and I don't have anything after level 3 memorized. My game here ends abruptly at level 4 once I lose my missiles and I'm sent back to a checkpoint. I'm doomed. I'm not that good, I can't get through the rest of it without missiles, because they do the dirty work for me. Personally, I prefer the Thunder Force and Gradius series, but a lot of other people dig R-Type the most. It's subjective, but one thing that is a fact is that this is an incredible version of R-Type on the PC Engine, showing once again that the TurboGrafx 16 or PC Engine works miracles, especially when it comes to spaceship shooters. Once again, I'd like to send a Classic Game Room shout-out, and thank you to Brian and Kat from Kyle, Texas, for sending R-Type and the PC Engine to the show. And while I'm train-wrecking level 4 here, I don't have it memorized. I do highly recommend the PC Engine or TurboGrafx 16 version of R-Type. It's really good. Welcome to Classic Game Room for the review of Twin Hawk, yet another amazing game on the PC Engine from Toaplan, Masters of Truxton. Twin Hawk. Twin Hawk, originally released to the arcades in 1989 from Toaplan, brings up the age-old question: can't tanks and airplanes just get along? No. Certainly not in this game, because you will blow up many a tank, driving tanks, swimming tanks, diving tanks, submersible tanks. The enemy loves tanks. They should have really invested in a few airplanes, though. I like this catchy music. Here's a shot of Twin Hawk being played off the CGR CRT television, where it looks great and plays really well. I just love the PC Engine. It reminds me of the Sega Genesis or Mega Drive. It's a great game system, so thanks to Mark from East Meadow, New York, and Ahmed from Springfield Gardens for spoiling me for life. Mark sent the PC Engine, and Ahmed sent this game, which is amazing. Twin Hawk. I reviewed this years ago on the Genesis, and it's a good game there, but better here. The PC Engine must have a reserve supply of blast processing. Although it can't touch the 32X in Cosmic Carnage, it just can't. Now, for the most part, Twin Hawk is a very straightforward vertical scrolling shooter, where you fly up and kill all the tanks coming down. The neat feature is that instead of a giant Truxton-like skull death super bomb, when you hit the one button on your controller, it calls in a support squadron of 6 airplanes to kick ass for you. Or at least kick ass with you. They're only good until something shoots them all down. The power-up system in Twin Hawk is really simple. You don't have lasers or anything like Fire Shark. You just increase the strength of your machine guns. And when you're destroyed, you lose your extra power, and that makes you really weak and vulnerable, so you'll be relying on your support craft a lot after you're destroyed. I think it's fun to watch how they get picked off one by one, and sometimes you'll have 1 or 2 left on the side giving you some backup. Like most of the other Toa Plan games, Twin Hawk is a one-shot kill kind of game. If your plane gets shot, it explodes. My recommendation is don't get shot. It's you versus endless waves of tanks. Try to hang on to your weapon power-up as long as possible. I'm playing here on easy because that's the only way I can get through this game. I'm a giant pussy. It's not quite as easy as it looks though, because your hitbox, the area that registers a hit, is quite large in Twin Hawk compared to a lot of other spaceship-style shooters. If you get hit in the tail, you'll explode. As I understand it, there's also a Super CD version of this game for the PC Engine. Woo! I haven't played that one. I did a bit of reading online, and it seems like people actually prefer this one, for what it's worth. Ah, that boss. This guy's tough. There's a couple difficulty settings. It's a one-player game, and when you defeat the round, it loops and gets harder. It's a good game, highly recommended on the PC Engine. It may not be quite as stylish or fancy as something like Gate of Thunder. It's just that good old Toa Plan style vertical scrolling shooter, and you know Toa Plan made that other game, Truxton! So it's gotta be good. This one is also one of the more approachable PC Engine games. You can find it out there on eBay for a reasonable price. Not to be confused with Twin Cobra, also an excellent game. It's Twin Hawk! So thank you once again to Alpharoid, my man Ahmed from Springfield Gardens, New York. This one is really cool. I've had a great time playing it. It's just a good, straightforward vertical scrolling shooter where you take out your aggression on little tanks driving in circles. When you step up the difficulty, there's way more shots in the air, so there's a lot here to love for all skill levels. Thanks again, Mark and Ahmed. There's many more PC Engine reviews coming soon, like Bomberman and Tatsujin, as well as Street Fighter 2 Final Zone 2 and Xevious. Because Xevians are the real humans, and they love PC Engine. Just like me. Now we need a sequel called Triple Hawk, which sounds like a beer, doesn't it? Can you tell it's Friday? You can't celebrate 20 years of classic game room without 3 things: a beer, a love pillow, and Truxton! or in this case, Tatsujin, on the PC Engine, which is like Truxton, but 5 times as hard. How did they make Truxton harder? They found a way. So hang on to that beer, you'll need to cry into it, and hang on to the love pillow because I guess what else would you do with it? Nobody wants a used love pillow. And prepare to play some Tatsujin. Now, you may have seen my review of the Sega Genesis version of this game, known as Truxton, which is especially fun if you play it in New Jersey! Or anywhere for that matter. The Genesis version does not fill the screen. The PC Engine does. So you can see all of the stuff trying to kill you without wasting any screen real estate on the skull bombs and the extra lives and the whatever. The PC Engine gives you more and then takes it away, brutally. Because it's mean. Now, those of you with keen eyes may have wondered how Mark got so far into the game if it's this hard. Because I'm not good at games, or anything, really. But that's not true. I'm really good at cheating. And reaching for that slow motion switch on the PC Engine controller, even in slow motion, this game is hard. I'll just come right out and say it. This version of Tatsujin is impossible. If games like Einhander are just too easy for you, play this one. Play Tatsujin. This is the game you're looking for. Oh no! Hold on, everyone! Internet toxicity has invaded the future Laserdisc! Mark's not good at this game, he doesn't deserve to play it! That's not true, thanks to the power of editing! I'm awesome at Tatsujin. I'm king of Tatsujin! Enemies bow down and explode before me. In fact, I need to change the song. Spaceships of red, blue, and green. You can hear the alien ladies scream. Mark is king of Tatsujin! He'll never lose. Oh, fuck. Even in slow motion, this game is hard. I get it, a bunch of spry Japanese children have way faster reflexes than I do, but this is ridiculous. This game is sadistic. If you're insanely good at spaceship shooters, then you are the market for Tatsujin. I want to like Tatsujin. In fact, I do like Tatsujin. I'm just not so sure about this version of Tatsujin. If you want to play Tatsujin the proper way by playing Tatsujin instead of Truxton, may I suggest Tatsujin on the Mega Drive instead of Truxton on the Genesis, or Tatsujin on the PC Engine, though Tatsujin on the Mega Drive is very good because it's the exact same game as Truxton on the Sega Genesis, but it's called Tatsujin. Get it? Got it? Good. Okay, have fun. This game is brutal, that's why it never made it onto the show back in the day. I can't play it. But I can recommend it if you're looking for Truxton with 5 times the difficulty. It does look nice, though, to be honest, I prefer the Sega Genesis version. It's true. The Genesis does what the PC Engine don't. It plays Truxton at a reasonable speed. But don't let that stop me from giving a Classic Game Room shout out and thank you to my man Mark from East Meadow, New York. Thank you for sending Tatsujin. This game kicked my ass from one side of the universe to the other, though I do love the packaging artwork, which is a nice variation of the Truxton artwork that we all know and love. Tatsujin. It's literally the same game as Truxton, but this version of it runs at ludicrous speed. banished from Earth Classic Game Room broadcasts from the intergalactic space arcade on its never-ending mission to review everything. Here's your difficulty settings: normal, hard, super hard, and unbelievable. I'll just stick with normal. I can't even get through the game on normal yet. Love that 90s anime air. What is the function of all those blinking lights? At the beginning of the game, it gives you a bit of a tutorial explaining what power-ups you pick up and combine and what they do. It's all in Japanese, I can't understand it, but it, you know. So it's trying to explain what happens. So you get the Wind Slasher and the Wind Destroyer. You combine that one with the red one and you get something. It's like mixing cocktails of destruction. So that's pretty amazing as far as I'm concerned. Let's start the game. Spriggan for PC Engine, which is unbelievably expensive. So in that respect, they are correct. I figured I couldn't do the Musha review without mentioning this. Spriggan and Super Aleste are both really good games. Super Aleste on the Super Famicom, also known as Space Megaforce for the Super Nintendo, is cheaper on the Super Famicom. I haven't decided which game is best yet. I kind of like them all. Musha's the best of the bunch, but then you've also got Super Aleste, Robo Aleste, Regular Aleste, Spriggan, Power Strike 2. So every game is different depending on which power-ups you collect. And that's just one of the best things about this, is it's like no two games are ever the same. And you collect those things to blow up all the enemies on screen and give yourself a shield. Can you see the shield there? So here I am going with the 3 green power-ups, which is actually a pretty nice choice. Because as you see, it gives you a nice spread of destruction and also shoots lasers out to the side when you kill enemies, which is nice. You killed my shield! You heartless bastards! There we go. So you always want your shield in this game. Except no substitutes. You want a shield. This guy's tons of fun. Watch this. First thing we're gonna do is drop a bomb. Have a bomb. That's for you. Because I love you. Stay out of the way of his hands, and there you go. So you can shoot your power-ups as bombs. That's quite handy, especially in the Death Cavern Eel level, which you'll see shortly. I require a shield. There it is. There it is. There it is, and destroy. All right. See the little guys below me? I am giving them the finger with my giant death robot. Nobody likes you, and by nobody I mean me. Ow. This is a very bad weapon here. This one is annoying. No! Give me another green one. Oh, perfect. And a bomb. Shield, I made shield. So you see how the different weapon combinations really mix this game up? It's very cool. Did you know that the classic Game Room reviews for Sega Genesis games in 2008 were recorded on VHS tapes? Now you know. And knowing is half the killer death robot battle. The other half is just killing things with your robot. That is the problem with the reds. They do not fire fast enough. 3 greens is much better. Thankfully, I have 5 extra guys. How many of you have already hit the eBay buy button? It's not cheap, I know, but it is kind of worth it because it's so unique. I mean, if you're collecting for the PC Engine, you should be used to this anyway. Like, nothing is cheap on the PC Engine, but... the homing laser is not a good choice for this level. Is everyone ready for death and destruction? Because that is what I'm about to bring to myself normally for this level. The Death Cave! Stop attacking me! I do not like this weapon. This weapon is, however, acceptable in certain situations. There goes my shield. And there goes me. Run to your stupid airship, cowards! Yes! No lives lost, and I've still got my favorite weapon combo in the game. Like, this doesn't look like it would be that powerful of a weapon combo, but it really is. This does some good work. You got a spread shot with the Destructo Shield. I think that's the technical term, or at least it should be. Spread shot with Destructo Shield, everyone. Yeah! And the Death Piranhas! Everything in this game has death in it somehow, one way or another. You just need the right weapon combo. That makes all the difference. Those things suck. There we go. Let's get rid of them before they cause a problem. Yep, that's it. It's official. This is the best weapon combo in the game right here. You want this? The Death Shield is really nice because it destroys the things before they get too close to you. I like that. 6 extra guys. I think I might be able to get through the Death Eel. Like, my only gripe with Spriggan is that the music is just mixed too low. Like, it's got some pretty cool tunes, you just can't hear them. I'm concentrating very hard right now. Sorry, not much talking. All concentrating. Oh, the Death Jellyfish. Hello, Death Jellyfish. Have some lasers. I stepped on a jellyfish once, therefore I hate all of you. Alright, now this thing. This thing sucks. And I lost my shield, which is not helpful at all. Ah, what the? Ready? We still recording? Super Death Space Death Evil Frog. Oh god, get away from me. Ah! What hit my shield? Are you dead yet? No, it's a bouncing heart. Oh, this isn't Contra. Freaking Gradius! No! Maintain composure. Ah, can't get my bomb. Shoot. Die already. I have killed you 3 times. That should be enough. Spriggan! This game is awesome. This is a great Friday. And I get anime in between. Look at this. Love the lava effect here. It's just great. This is the first time I've made it to this level with this many extra guys. I think last time I got here I was like nearly dead, but this game is going better so far. It's Friday. Just good time for a spaceship shooter. Of course, when is it not a good time for a spaceship shooter, really? 327, 350 is my high score by a lot. Looks really nice on a CRT. If you aren't collecting for the PC Engine yet, well, you should be by the end of this review. Oh, well, this thing looks menacing. Ooh, this is the weapon I like. One of the weapons I like. I'm gonna do what I can to keep this thing. Ah, it's got a death eye! Why must they always have death eyes? And it shoots fake laser bubbles. Stop shooting death things at me! Let's be friends! Kenny Loggins! I have never gotten this far in the game before. It does not look good. Whatever this is. It's very nasty. Whoa! Holy crap, it's Musha! I haven't gotten this far before. We've gone from Musha to Gyrus, which is totally acceptable. Yes, there we go. Back to my favorite laser weapon combo. Blue and 2 reds. Which gives you the most offense and defense. This is the greatest Friday ever. This thing looks bad. Boy, am I glad I wasn't standing in front of that thing. Whoa, you killed my shield! Not cool! That's right, bitch, I've got the spinning death shield. Haha! No, these things are in Musha! And they suck in that game too! Am I fighting the Matrix? What is this? I have not gotten this far yet. I don't know what the hell. It's like I'm fighting a Vectrex. Which is going to end poorly for me, I can already tell you that. Ooh, this guy. Excuse me. You have a giant asshole built into your face. You should have that looked at. Just saying. I can't speak your language. Just get on with the battle. Come on. Let's go. Something, whatever. Okay. I'm sorry I disrespected your daughter. I really am. Actually, I'm not. Let's just get on with it. Let's go. This is the longest lead up to a boss battle I've ever seen. It's like he's reading a book. Did you forget that we're fighting? Oh, it's the 1990s Big Death computer thing. That looks great. Whoa, get away from me. Oh, get... Oh, that's not good. Have a bomb. No. Oh, you suck. No. No. Game over. Ah. This game is very good. I'm going to stop the cameras right now, but I'm going to continue off camera and win it. I did not expect to beat this game today.